The container manifest showed our premium jade inventory, $300K worth, rerouted to Nexus Global Enterprises, a company that shouldn't exist. My fingers trembled as I recognized the authorization code, SM 7745. Only two people knew it, Melinda and me. Honey, Thai or Italian tonight? Melinda's voice cut through my shock like ice water. I forced my face neutral, throat suddenly sandpaper dry. Either's fine. She leaned against the doorframe, wearing the pearl necklace I'd given her last anniversary. $30K I'd saved for 2 years to buy. Darius needs those Myanmar supplier contacts for the expansion. The encrypted ones your father built over decades. Can you send them tonight? My stomach churned. Those contacts took Dad 20 years to cultivate. Personal relationships with village elders, handshake deals worth millions, trust passed down through generations. Sure, I'll email them. You okay? You look pale. Not getting sick, are you? Just tired. Inventory counts, quarterly reports, tax preparation. I managed a smile that felt like broken glass against my lips. She kissed my cheek. Jasmine perfume overwhelming, the same scent she wore when we met at that charity gala 5 years ago. Don't work too late. Love you. The words burned like acid in my ears. After she left, I stumbled to the bathroom, gripping the porcelain sink until my knuckles went white. The mirror showed a stranger. Hollow eyes, clenched jaw, sweat beading on my forehead, despite the air conditioning running at 68 degrees. For 6 months, I'd been playing chess blindfolded while they positioned pieces around me. Eduardo's warning from this morning suddenly made perfect sense. Mr. Vostok, I don't like to interfere, but check the Thursday shipping logs. Containers going places they shouldn't. And sir, your wife's consultant has been photographing our security protocols, copying our client database. Also, your mother's friend, Mrs. Petrov, called 3 times. Said it's urgent about your grandfather's legacy. Mrs. Petrov. Mom's childhood friend from Belarus, now living in Brighton Beach. Why would she call now, 2 years after Mom's death? I splashed cold water on my face, remembering Dad's workshop voice from when I was 12, teaching me to identify real jade from fake. Trust but verify, boys. Even family, especially family. Because family can hurt you deeper than any stranger ever could. Your grandfather learned this fleeing Stalin's regime. I had to know how deep this betrayal went. I'm Jasper Vostok, 41, and 3 years ago, I inherited Vostok luxury imports from my mother. Her father's Belarusian legacy become American empire. The business wasn't just commerce. Rare Burmese textiles, Ceylon sapphires, Japanese ceramics, Siberian amber, ancient Buddhist sculptures. 52 employees who attended my wedding, my father's funeral, my daughter's baptism before the divorce. $18 million annual revenue. But the relationships were worth triple that. I noticed patterns others miss. Once caught an employee stealing by tracking coffee cup positions. Same mug in different places meant someone was covering shifts they weren't working. Another time, spotted counterfeit jade by the way dust settled in the microscopic carvings. Saved us from a $2 million fraud. But family, I trusted blindly. Fatal flaw in this brutal business where trust is currency. Mom's deathbed words haunt me daily. Trust is like crystal, beautiful but fragile. Once shattered, never quite the same. But sometimes, Jasper, shattering is necessary for rebuilding. Your grandfather knew this when he fled Belarus, with nothing but jade samples sewn into his coat lining. My brother Nathan, 3 years younger, chose Harvard Law over silk and precious stones. Someone needs to protect you from your trusting nature, he'd joke. But his prosecutor eyes stayed serious. We'd grown distant after Mom died. He'd wanted to be bought out for $3 million cash, move to Washington, join the Justice Department. But I convinced him to stay as 25% silent partner with specific provisions in our operating agreement. Melinda had dismissed him as uninvolved, never reading the provision that required his signature for major transfers. Her first mistake, assuming a Harvard prosecutor would be a passive investor. Every morning, 5:45 a.m. sharp without fail, I arrive first. Check the Jade Room personally. Climate control at exactly 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 45% humidity, motion sensors active, ultraviolet lights to reveal repairs. Dad's worn leather briefcase sits on my desk, coffee stained and perfect, holding his handwritten supplier notes in Cyrillic, Mandarin, and English. I drink jasmine tea from Mom's Lomonosov porcelain, never coffee, her tradition from the old country. When stressed, I fold origami cranes. Hundreds now fill my bottom drawer, paper witnesses to mounting anxiety these past months. Melinda owned the other 50%, a wedding gift I'd insisted on despite Nathan's warnings. She's too eager, Jasper. Nobody should want in this badly. She studied our family for months before approaching you. That Tuesday evening, I called Mrs. Petrov from my car. Her voice shook with urgency. Jasper, your mother made me promise to tell you if I ever saw certain signs. There's a woman asking questions about your grandfather's old connections in Minsk. She's offering money for information about accounts he might have hidden. Swiss banks, Cypriot holdings, gold reserves. The woman's name is Melinda Vostok. My blood went cold. Grandfather's accounts. Mom had hinted they existed. Artifacts from his diamond trading days before the war, but never confirmed. Family legend said $10 million in Swiss gold, hidden when he fled Belarus. If Melinda was hunting for them, when did she contact you? 6 months ago, right after she met that consultant at some conference. She thinks there's $10 million hidden somewhere. She hired investigators in Switzerland, Belarus, Cyprus. She's been studying your grandfather's shipping routes from 1951. The timeline clicked perfectly. Melinda brought in Darius right after learning about possible hidden fortune. She wasn't just stealing our current business. She was hunting for grandfather's legendary hidden wealth. She'd dismissed Nathan as irrelevant, thinking he'd walked away from the business years ago. She never knew he reviewed our books monthly, that his distance was strategic protection. Darius Renfrew had entered our lives 4 months ago at the Asian Trade Summit in Seattle's Four Seasons. Melinda introduced him breathlessly, revolutionary supply chain consultant from Boston, MIT genius. He'll transform everything we do. MIT graduate, yes, but always in black turtlenecks like some discount Steve Jobs, spoke in Silicon Valley buzzwords that scraped against my merchant grandfather's sensibilities. We need to disrupt our paradigm, leverage synergies, blockchain the inventory, move fast, break things, digitize everything. His questions bothered me immediately. Why did he need our Myanmar jade suppliers' personal phone numbers? Why photograph our warehouse security codes? Why examine our oldest shipping records from the 1950s, grandfather's era? Why study manifests from Soviet-era Belarus? Nathan visited that first day, unusual since Mom's funeral. Watched Darius's PowerPoint with prosecutor eyes, taking notes. Later in the parking lot, rain drumming on our umbrellas. That consultant's completely full of shit, Jasper. And he's asking about historical documents. Why would a supply chain consultant care about 70-year-old shipping manifests from communist Belarus? Melinda says he's thorough. Nathan's jaw tightened, rain running off his umbrella. Melinda underestimates people. She thinks because I don't work here daily, I'm not watching. She dated me first, 7 years ago. Dumped me when she found out you had the majority inheritance. She thinks I'm still bitter, Harmless. She's wrong. Finding nexus. Global was accidental. Searching for shipping insurance, comparing rates. There it was. Incorporated 8 weeks ago in Delaware, CEO Darius Renfrew. Mysterious investor holding 51%. Address: a mailbox in Wilmington. Then Melinda's laptop, left carelessly open during her shower. She'd been sloppy, confident I'd never look. Their business plan glowed on the screen. Project Overthrow. Use Vostok suppliers. Undercut our prices using our own contacts. Destroy our reputation with staged quality issues. Blame me for mismanagement. But there was more. A folder labeled Belarus Accounts Confidential. Screenshots of old documents. Grandfather's shipping records from 1951. Circled account numbers. Swiss bank codes. Highlighted names of long-dead Soviet officials. They weren't just stealing our business. They were treasure hunting for grandfather's mythical fortune. 2 weeks of investigation. Nathan guided me through documentation. Don't just photograph, get notarized copies. Build an evidence chain that'll hold in court. His text at 2 a.m. Found the key. Our operating agreement, Section 31, fraud provision. Any partner committing fraud exceeding $100K forfeits their equity, pays actual damages plus statutory penalties. Standard corporate law, not exotic. Mom's lawyer insisted on it after the 2008 crisis. Melinda never read past page 10. I checked the DocuSign logs. At his Rockefeller Center office, Nathan showed me Mom's sealed letter. Jasper, if someone's hunting for grandfather's fortune, it doesn't exist. He spent everything escaping Belarus, building the business. The hidden accounts were a strategic lie to deter Soviet agents. The real treasure was always the business itself. I laughed bitterly. She's chasing ghosts. While committing documentable fraud, she thought I was out of the picture, bitter about our past. She never realized prosecutors never really leave. We just wait. Thursday morning arrived like grandfather's ghost, seeking justice. I filed the fraud claim at 8 a.m. with Nathan beside me. The operating agreement's fraud provision was standard corporate law, clear, enforceable, devastating. By 9 a.m., the court had issued a temporary restraining order freezing transfers. By 10 a.m., Melinda arrived in her white Mercedes AMG, furious, designer heels clicking on marble. You can't do this. I built this company with you. Nathan has no standing. He's been absent for years. Nathan smiled coldly. Absent. I review every monthly statement. I approved every major contract. Check your signatures. You thought my distance meant disinterest. You thought wrong. Section 31. Fraud forfeits equity. Here's the forensic accounting. $400K stolen. Documented across 63 transactions. My lawyer will destroy this. Your lawyer withdrew when we presented evidence to the state bar. Wire fraud is criminal, Melinda. You focused so hard on grandfather's fake fortune, you forgot about real consequences. Darius burst in, panicking, sweat staining his black turtleneck. The FBI is at my apartment. They're seizing everything. I watched his face as Nathan delivered the killing blow. By the way, Darius, those Swiss accounts you're hunting, they never existed. Grandfather spread that rumor to protect the family from Soviet extortion. You destroyed your life chasing a 60-year-old bluff. Darius went white, turning on Melinda. You guaranteed those accounts existed. You showed me documents. Forged documents, Nathan corrected. We traced the paper, manufactured in 2019. You both committed fraud chasing a fairy tale. Security escorted them out. Melinda's last words. Nathan, I never thought you'd... That was your biggest mistake. Underestimating the quiet brother. 3 weeks later, I attended Darius's federal sentencing. He looked broken. Learning the fortune he'd sacrificed everything for was fiction. The judge. 18 months federal prison, $2 million restitution. Deportation to Canada. Mr. Renfrew, you destroyed real lives chasing imaginary gold. In the hallway afterward, Darius approached me hollow-eyed. The accounts really never existed. Never. Grandfather's only treasure was the business you tried to steal. I gave up everything for nothing. He laughed bitterly. MIT tenure track position, legitimate consulting firm, my reputation, all for Melinda's obsession with hidden millions. That's what greed does. Makes you blind to what's real. 8 months later, Vostok Luxury Imports thrived beyond imagination. Nathan joined officially as Chief Legal Officer, no longer silent, never underestimated again. Our new offices overlooked the Hudson, grandfather's portrait watching over everything he'd built from nothing. Revenues up 35%, Eduardo reported. Clients trust us more than ever. Mrs. Petrov visited, bringing Mom's tea set. Your mother knew Nathan was the guardian, you the builder. Together, unbreakable. That evening, Nathan and I sat in Dad's restored workshop. Melinda's mistake wasn't just greed, Nathan reflected. She thought quiet meant weak. Distance meant disconnection. She profiled us wrong. She thought you'd walked away. I never left. I was waiting. Prosecutors are patient. We build cases slowly, thoroughly. She thought our history would make me emotional, careless. Instead, it made me methodical. A year later, Forbes ran our story, but missed the key lesson. Sometimes the best protection isn't the loudest voice in the room. It's the quiet observer, documenting everything, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Melinda remarried in Arizona, tried the same scheme with a dentist. He called me after finding irregularities. She's hunting for his deceased father's supposed hidden assets, he said, exhausted. Hired investigators, genealogists. There's nothing to find, I told him. There never is. Some people spend their lives chasing ghosts instead of building something real. They divorced 3 months later. She's still hunting for treasure that doesn't exist. Darius teaches business ethics at a Vancouver community college now. Court-ordered community service. His first lecture each semester, I went to federal prison chasing imaginary Swiss gold. Let me tell you about the cost of greed. The workshop wall now holds 4 photos, Mom, Dad, Grandfather, and Nathan and me at the reopening. The inscription below, in Grandfather's handwriting from an old letter, real treasure isn't hidden. It's built daily through trust. Trust but verify, especially family. But when verification confirms trust, that's when you build empires. And sometimes, the quiet brother you underestimated is the deadliest piece on the board.